Okay, now what we're going to do here today is we're going to teach you how to work with an Excel spreadsheet and set up a drip email system for follow-up. This is basically your sales pipeline. Now, as you can see here, I have downloaded records from the Reference USA database, and I have downloaded them as a CSV file, but that will convert to an Excel spreadsheet automatically when I go to click on it and open it up. Now, if you don't have an Excel spreadsheet program, a CSV file will convert into whatever spreadsheet program you have in your computer. Now, here, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually create some different columns to put the information that I'm going to work with up at the front. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create two columns. The first column is going to be what I call my date follow-up column. Now, you can use this any way you want to. This could be the date that you followed up with them the last, or it could be a date you want to follow up with them next. I tend to use on that column the date I followed up with them last. It's just a little less confusing. Now, the next column is for whichever email that I've sent them. It's good to have about 8 to 10 pre-written emails that you send to people in a particular order. And we're going to cover those emails and what they should say in the next video. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move some of the information that's further back in the spreadsheet up to the front. The first column I'm going to move is the phone number, because obviously I don't want to have to scan through that spreadsheet to find the phone number column. I like to have it right next to all this other information that I'm accessing regularly. So I'm going to create a column and paste the phone number right in there next to the company name. Then I'm going to create another column because, of course, the first phone call I make to these people is going to be to do what? To get their email address. So I'm going to create a column right there. And first I'm just cleaning up the column before it so it doesn't extend. And then I'm going to type in email. That's where I'm going to put their email address. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to their executive title. That's another little piece of information I like to kind of move to the front. And I like to put that there right in front of their address, because pretty much anything after the address column you're not going to really use very often. So by putting A through H columns right next to each other, all the information that you're going to be accessing on the most regular basis is going to be right there where it's easily accessible for you. Now what I'm doing is I'm really just kind of cleaning up the column headers, making them a little shorter. By the way, all of these people in this spreadsheet are all in the real estate industry. Real estate people are great potential agents for us. These people are all either real estate agents or they're property managers or leasing agents. And all of them are great potential agents for Worth. If they work with homeowners, they're great. If they work with real estate investors, it's great because they can show a real estate investor how to basically own and have free and clear 4 to 5 properties in the same time that normally they would just have one. Now what I'm doing right here is I'm really just cleaning up the spreadsheet. I am deleting the original phone number column and the original executive title column, just so that I don't have the same information in more than one place on the spreadsheet and confuse myself later. So now I've got my spreadsheet set up the way I want. And so let's say that I'm starting to make my phone calls. Now, oops, I should have mentioned that, yes, you want to save your spreadsheet and save it with a name that's easy to remember. I like to start off all of my leads spreadsheets with the word leads so that I know they're all right there next to each other. And then I generally put the industry. So leads, real estate, RE for real estate, and then Pennsylvania, because that's where all these people are from. And you may want to have a little key that you set up in a, say, a little text file or someplace, or even a notebook that you keep, with the name of each of your lead sheets written down and what criteria you use to pull these lead sheets. This is a metro area in Pennsylvania where everybody is within the same kind of section of Pennsylvania. Now, I'm getting ready to start making my phone calls. So I've gotten my first email from somebody. And I'm going to go ahead and pretend that I've made about 26 phone calls and I've collected about 26 emails. So I'm just going to fill in the email columns here. So we're going to pretend these are individual emails for each of these people. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send these people the first email. Now, the beauty of sending people the first email is that all I have to do is I can send a group email by putting everybody's email address into the BCC box of an email. That stands for blind carbon copy. And it's very important to use that box because you don't want to reveal everybody's email address to everybody else. But you can easily do that by copying and pasting all of the emails from that column into the BCC box of an email. And we're going to show that to you in the next video, how to do that. But for just right now, just know that that's what we're doing. And we're now making a note to ourselves on each of those entries that we have now sent them the introductory video, which is video number 1. And I always put the number 1 as the first thing in that column because it makes it easier to sort the spreadsheet later on. Then I'm also putting the date. We sent all these out on the 5th. So I'm making a note of that. So no matter how I sort my spreadsheet, even if they get all jumbled up, I'll know on each individual entry when the last time I followed up with them was and which stage of the drip email they are in. Now, I'm basically going to email these people until they tell me to stop or until they express an interest. But after the first 8 or 10 drip emails that you pre-write, after that, when you send people an email, you might just send them something random that you make up on the spur of the moment each time. It doesn't really matter what it is because all you're doing is kind of letting them know the progress of what we're doing with the company. You know, it might be just an announcement that we were on the cover of a particular magazine or a reminder that we have an A rating in the Better Business Bureau. There's all kinds of little pieces of information you can give people. You never know what's going to hit their hot button at a given time. Now, what I've done here is I've created in the email column the reminder email. And I'm really just doing this just so I can show you how to sort. Right now I'm going to sort by phone number. Now, I'm sorting by phone number. And to do that, I'm going up to the data window on my toolbar. And it's going to pull up a dialog box. And if you're not sure how to do this on your Excel spreadsheet, how to sort an Excel spreadsheet by a particular column, feel free to call me and I can kind of walk you through that. But it pulls up when you find the data sort feature, it pulls up a dialog box and you can choose which column you want to sort by. And it'll then put that column in either numerical or alphabetical order for you. And this is handy because let's say I was getting ready to go meet somebody next week in the 570 area code. Well, why not call everybody else in that same area code between now and that appointment and see if there's a second or a third appointment that I can get set up? Because that's a great excuse to call somebody. It's like, hey, you know, I'm coming to your area to speak to Todd at Long Ridge Realty on Tuesday. I'm going to be meeting with Todd at noon. I'll only be with him for about maybe an hour or 2 hours. And I thought maybe we could get together on that same day if you have some free time. Okay, just a good excuse to call people. Now here what I'm doing is I am sorting by the follow-up date. So let's say I've come to my spreadsheet this morning and I want to go ahead and make sure that everybody that I sent the intro email to, that I send the next email to, the second email, which is a reminder email. So I can sort it very easily by either the follow-up date or the email that I sent. Here I'm going to sort it by the email that I sent. And you'll see what that does is that allows me to, it's putting all those in order so I can easily go through there and email all the number 1 intros and then change their status to 2 reminder. and I can easily email all the 2 reminders and advance them to the next stage of the drip email. Now when I do that, I obviously also update the follow-up date column. And as you start to have conversations with people, you also want to add a column for comments. And I usually have that after their title. And that allows you to just kind of type into the box what you talked to them about. Now in this particular instance, let's say I talked to Stephen, and Stephen told me that he is interested in buying the program for himself. He revealed to me he's got a mortgage and a lot of debt, and that he's very interested in potentially buying the program and also being an agent. So I'm going to type that in so I know that he's a hot prospect. And he also is very helpful. He's already talked to 10 other associates in his real estate office, and they all are interested in the program, but he wants me to talk to them about it because he obviously doesn't feel comfortable yet doing that. And so he's going to get back to me with a date that I can do a personalized webinar/conference call with the associates in his office. So we're going to get that set up. And so I'm making the little notes in my comment box, and I'm going to then make sure that I include the date that I told him I would follow up with him. So if I have not already heard from him by my follow-up date, then I won't forget to give him a ring. Now what I always do is I go back to the beginning of that column or the beginning of that cell, and I put the follow-up date as the very first thing there. Now why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing it so that, let's say I go to my spreadsheet tomorrow, I can go in and I can sort my spreadsheets by the comments section, and it's going to put it in date order for me. So it's going to allow me to see who I need to call today and tomorrow and maybe yesterday if somehow I didn't make those calls yesterday. It's going to keep me organized so that I'm not missing anybody. This is very important. This is basically what you're doing with this spreadsheet is you're setting up your own custom customer relationship management software. And that's going to wrap this up for today on this. We're going to save our work and look at the next email for how to do your drip email campaign.